Hello Algebra 2 class. We're going to pick up from where we ended the Zoom class for the classwork. Let's do number 3. We have y equals 3 over x squared minus 1. Let's first find the vertical asymptote. For the vertical asymptote, we simply have to make sure that the denominator does not equal 0. So x squared cannot equal 1. And if we square root both sides, since we're taking a square root of a variable that's even, we're going to do a plus or minus, and we get x cannot equal plus or minus 1. So we have two vertical asymptotes. Next, let's find the horizontal asymptote by taking the limit. Before we take the limit, we're going to see what the highest degree term is. It's x squared. And we're going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by that term. Again, from reflecting on the pattern, we already know that this is going to equal 0, but let's show our work. So f of x is 3 over x squared, which is 1, minus 1 over x squared. And if I take the limit as x approaches infinity, this becomes 0, this becomes 0, so we are left with 0 over 1, namely 0. So our horizontal asymptote is at y equals 0. Next, let's find the intercepts, starting with our x-intercept. We can find our x-intercept by making the y 0. We're going to cross multiply, and we get 0 equals 3, which is not true because there are no x-intercepts. For the y-intercept, we know that the x equals 0. So y equals 3 over 0 squared minus 1, so y equals negative 3. If x equals 0, y is negative 3, so I get the point 0, comma, negative 3. Let's graph this out now. You have the vertical asymptotes at negative 1 and at 1. Then you have the y-intercept, the horizontal asymptote, at y equals 0. Alright, so those asymptotes kind of cage in our graph. Let's look at some points. So we know that there are no x-intercepts. That seems to go along the lines of having a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. And then we have the y-intercept at 0, comma, negative 3, which is roughly here. Given the fact that I have a horizontal asymptote here at y equals 0, I know that my graph can't go up, so rather it's going to go down continuously. Next, I need to know whether on the left side this is in my graph or this is in my graph. So I need to at least find one point to tell me whether it's above y equals 0 or below y equals 0. I'm going to take the point negative 2. You could take any point less than negative 1 here. So as an extra point, I'm going to plug in f of negative 2. So we get 3 over negative 2, all of it squared is 4 minus 1. So we get 3 over 3. Really, I was concerned as to whether it was above 0 or below 0. It's 1, so we know it's positive. So we have a dot here. And so we get this graph. Now on the right side, we have to do the same thing. So let's find another extra point to see whether my graph will be here or here. So I'm going to plug in a point bigger than 1 namely 2. F of 2 then is going to be 3 over 2 squared is 4 minus 1, again 3 over 3, which we know to be 1. Which is this dot here, so we get this part of the graph. And so we're done with the graph. In pre-calculus, you'll be dealing with a graph where a point will exist on the horizontal asymptote. All right, see you on part 2.